I'd like to begin by saying, welcome to Drawing in the Now. I'm Nancy Marie, and and this class is called Drawing in the Now. Now, most art classes have you focus on composition or creating a product, creating a painting or a sculpture or something. But the focus in this class is learning to use the elements of drawing, the really, really simple part of them, to heal yourself and to make changes in your life. So it's a different approach and focus. Many years ago, when I was actually in school studying art, I came to realize that if I approach things in a certain way, that I ended up feeling much better. I found myself really enjoying myself. And I also found that I was being able to handle things in my personal life a lot better than before. It wasn't until many, many years later when I met Dr. Bruce Lipton that I realized that what I had found or figured out when I was in school was how to activate my conscious mind. And the reason is that when you activate your conscious mind, your brain automatically dumps oxytocin and dopamine into the system, into your system. And that's a wonderful feeling. And it also is that when you're in that place, we're able to see and observe and problem solve. While when we're focusing on the external, that often we find ourselves stuck. So what I'm wanting to do today is I'm actually starting a new cycle. So today we're going to do the first version of the first activity in the I Create What I Believe program. And this exercise is called Just Scribble. And the first version is individual hands. So we're going to, in each of these classes, I'm going to demonstrate and guide you through an activity, talk about how you can apply this to your life, and why it works. So we're going to do the activity, the application, and then the science behind it. So does everybody have some paper and pencil or crayons ready to go? All right. So when you're doing this activity, I want you to start with your non-dominant hand. For me, that's my left hand. And what I want you to think about is that we are not doing something. We are allowing something to happen. We are exploring what feels the best. And why are we exploring what feels the best? Because, as I said, when you activate the conscious mind, your brain automatically dumps oxytocin and dopamine into your system. So if you are doing the activity and all of a sudden you feel this rush of, or just this little dribble of feeling like, oh, wow, this is fun, or I like this, or I'm happy, or I'm relaxed, whatever it is, it's an indicator that you have shifted from your reactive mind into your conscious problem-solving mind. And this is important. So I'm going to start with my non-dominant hand. Now you can go do it with me now, or you can observe and then just do it when I guide you through it. But you can do either one. It's just fine. So the first thing I do is I have my paper. I have my crayon. Then I close my eyes and I take a deep breath. Now, you can start the activity by doing 3 deep breaths, or you can just jump ahead and forget about the 3 deep breaths and just do 1 deep breath and move into the activity. So here it is. I have my crayon, I have my paper. I'm going to close my eyes, and then I'm going to allow this hand to scribble anything it wants. And I want to pay attention to the rhythm and the pressure and how it affects my breathing and how my breathing affects what my exploring. So we're exploring here and we are allowing. When I have a sense of the pattern that this hand likes to draw in, then I keep my eyes closed. I put the crayon in my dominant hand and I allow it to have a turn as I explore. Now, you're going to see that for me, there's a great difference between the pattern of my non-dominant hand versus my dominant hand. It doesn't matter which it is. It's different. So once you have a sense of what it is that that hand likes to do, keep your eyes closed and reflect. Did your non-dominant hand, with the way it wanted to draw, or your dominant hand and how it wanted to draw, which one made you feel the best? When you have an answer, open your eyes. Okay. When you're done, open your eyes and raise your hand. Thanks, Guy. Raise your hand if you're done. Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, so everybody did it with me? Let's all do it again together. And this time I am going to use a different color for my dominant hand versus my non-dominant hand. I'm going to start with the non-dominant again, just like I did before. But if I have the different colors, then it really is going to be easier for me to separate out the pattern of one versus the other. So take a deep breath and close your eyes.
I don't have colors.
Pardon? Okay, so take a deep breath and allow your non-dominant hand to scribble any way it wants, and really explore the rhythm and how it affects your breathing and how your breathing affects the movement. Just really let yourself drop into this. And so I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. And when you're doing this, just really pay attention to, do you feel the change in your face, on your skin, in your chest, in your body? What happens in your mind? Does it become still or becomes excited? Pay attention, observe, and explore. This is really the art of self-reflection. When you're clear on what it is that this hand needs to do, then once again, Keep your eyes closed. Either put a new crayon in your dominant hand or use the same one, and then let it do what it really wants to do. And you can see from my original one, and even more so from this one, the difference between these two. So before I open my eyes this time, I'm going to ask myself, yes, what feels the best? But both of them are very different. And, when I scribble with my dominant hand, how does that make me feel? Does it make me feel stronger and clearer and more confident? And with the non-dominant hand, is it softer? Is it lovely? Is it filled with love and sensitivity? What happens in you when you scribble with your non-dominant hand? And what happens inside of you when you scribble with your dominant hand? When you're clear on that, then open your eyes and raise your hand.
Yeah, I check on.
All right. Anybody want to share? Was there a big difference between the dominant versus the non-dominant?
Yes.
Yes, yes. If it's a yes, raise your hand, everybody. Okay. If there isn't any difference, then also raise your hand so I know where you're standing. So now what I want to do is, like, we're obviously not going to go around with life with a big piece of paper or a small piece of paper and crayons to be able to explore this and to utilize this. But I know now from doing this pattern, then the one for my non-dominant was very circular and softer and lighter. And so I know if I move my non-dominant hand in this manner, I can recreate that feeling, that sensitivity, that connection to myself. In the same way, I know if I put the crayon in my dominant hand, well, I'm not going to be walking around with the paper, yes, but remember how it felt. And for me, when I was doing the dominant hand, I felt strong, I felt clear, I felt I could handle things, that there was a very different shift in my energy. So we start out with crayons on the paper, but ultimately, once you're clear about that pattern, which you can, get clear in a day or two, that you can reproduce the same sensations by using your finger on your hand or on your arm or on your leg. So that means that you can shift your energy. If you are in a place where you have to really stand up for yourself, or I'll take it personal. If I'm in a situation where I need to stand up for myself, I wouldn't be scribbling with my non-dominant hand. Instead, I would be scribbling with my dominant hand, because I know that automatically, I mean, look at the lines, the clear, it is just, there's a lot of force there. But at the same time, if I want to really connect deeply within myself and find the answer, the path that's, the best for me, then scribbling with my non-dominant hand will get me there. So know which one will get you where. And know that we start with the paper and the crayons, but then we can quickly move to our finger on our hand, on our leg, even with our foot, we can do it with our foot under the table. Because important, I feel like, is you learn a technique, you learn why you can use it, you learn how you can adapt it into your life, and then you have to disguise it. And that's where we're, when I'm talking about using your finger on your hand. I mean, you could be in a very dicey situation, and using your finger on your hand could keep you centered and keep you clear and keep you encapsulated, so you don't get caught up in the madness that's going on outside of us. So why does this work? Why does scribbling activate your conscious mind? Well, it's very simple. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind work in an either or capacity. What that means is if you activate your conscious mind, be it with your non-dominant hand or your dominant hand, but you've activated, because all of a sudden you get this feeling, this happy feeling, this full feeling, this contentment. So you've activated. If they operate in an either or capacity, it means if you've activated your conscious mind, then at the same time, you're suspending the subconscious mind. That means all those tapes, all that negative chatter that happens between our ears is suspended. It just doesn't exist. So in many ways, this is the simplest way for you to bring about change in your life. Because if you're activating your conscious mind, like I said before, the subconscious mind is suspended. And most of the difficulty we have with life is the fact that our subconscious mind has a different agenda than our conscious mind. It's like we have an agenda. We want to accomplish X, Y, and Z. In the subconscious mind, that's where all of the beliefs and perceptions and behaviors we acquired in the first 5 years of our life are stored. And a lot of those are inaccurate. So we want to just suspend that. It doesn't mean the subconscious mind is bad. It has some inaccurate information. So back when I was in art school, what I found was if I had an assignment, there was a should. I needed to do X, Y, or Z. I needed to do a drawing. I needed to do a sculpture. I needed to do something. That the most important thing for me at that point was, I didn't know the wording of it then, but I knew I had to get myself to this other mind state. And that when I got there, it was easy. It was truly easy. The same is true now. We have an immense amount of chaos and upheaval going on in the world. Are we going to let that drag us down? Or are we going to find a way to lift ourselves up and be able to be an inspiration for ourselves and for others? So we want to lift ourselves up. And so that's where the scribbling comes in. Just scribbling with your non-dominant or your dominant hand, one or the other, can lift you out of fear and anger and frustration, all of that. That's called healing. So back to what I said before is that most art classes have you focus on composition and product. Are you going to do a winter scene? Are you going to do a sculpture of this? You know, what are you going to do? But the real healing part of art is that it enables us to go deep within ourselves and find the little beliefs that may be holding us back, maybe keeping us from being who we were really meant to be. My phrase always is that, are you being the person you were taught to be? Or are you being the person you were designed to be? The design, that's your authentic self. And when we connect with ourselves this way, the amount of self-love just gushes. It gushes inside of us, and that people experience us differently. So we can inspire others. We don't have to talk about anything. Just scribble every day. Scribble multiple times during the day. And when something annoys you, scribble. And when something bothers you, scribble. Just don't go there. Don't go there. And, you know, enjoy the scribbling, and like it can be on big paper or it can be on small paper. It can be on your hand. It can be on your leg. And, you know, I think that if each and every one of us spent maybe only 5 or 10 minutes a day scribbling, that's not all at one time. You know, you can do it, you know, a lot of the times where I scribble is when I'm sitting in my car at a red light. No, I don't close my eyes then. And no, I don't have a crayon in my hand or a piece of paper there. But I can scribble on my steering wheel. I can scribble on my hand. I can pull myself into myself. And then the madness out here doesn't affect me. And you become a source of good and inspiration for yourself and for others. So in this time of great challenge, you know, I recommend you spend a lot of time scribbling. We actually have the time. I think we're going to do one more scribbling here. And this time, see, you know, did you go deeper between 1 and 2? Did you get further into and what was different when you did number 3? So, and then what I'm going to have is if people want to share afterwards, we can do that. But for right now, let's scribble one more time together. And you can have 1 crayon or 2, doesn't matter. You're going to close your eyes. We're not going to do the 3 deep breaths. We're just going to take a deep breath and jump in. Make sure your eyes are closed. And here we go. And allow, you know, you might find that by the time you're doing number 3, you're bringing your whole body into this. This is not a small little thing anymore. You know, this is big. This is you. This is your energy. This is who you are. This energy, this delightful and lovely energy is what you have to share with the universe. And when you're ready, you can either pass the crayon to your dominant hand, or you can use a different crayon. Once again, just take a deep breath and dive into it and really pay attention to the difference, to how it feels, what it makes you feel like, what does it, what, you know, just how is this? For me, I'm seeing as I'm doing this, you know, it feels like water splashing up in the air, splashing. It's like the ocean hitting rocks and splashing up, It's splashing up and splashing up. And when you're clear on both of those, open your eyes. And if you would like to share your experience with others, just raise your hand and I will say go for it. But you don't have to. There's no need for you to share if you would prefer not to. So, yes.
Yeah, I love by the third
Just
one.
Stephanie, hold on a
Okay.
minute. Your name is that you just raised?
Stephanie.
Yeah, I know Stephanie.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. Somebody else is, are you Guy or are you Fallon? Ma'am?
Oh, me? I'm fat.
Yeah, okay. All right. So what was the difference between those two?
I actually I tried something different, but doing the same activity. I'm ambidextrous, and I found when I did each one separately, it kind of felt like something was missing. So I tried them both together, and they were basically mirroring each other, and it felt like both hemispheres of my brain were like in sync.
Fantastic. And you've actually jumped ahead into version number 2 of the activity, doing the double hands.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No, that's great. I mean, I love it when people organically move, just go with their senses. And so you did. That's fantastic. Okay, Stephanie.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the first two, the non-dominant hand was that more playful round, and the dominant hand with the stronger. But it was really interesting on the third one. They took on the qualities, a bit of
the other.
beginning, but a bit of the other. So that was really exciting, actually.
Yes, that is very exciting because it says that, you're bringing them close together. You want to have, all things integrated in yourself. And so,
Yeah.
so knowing that, okay, you might do it, while you're, stirring your oatmeal in the morning, or, I mean, you don't know, it's like, how are you going to get these little things in, in your daily schedule? And so that's and really paying attention. And like what you said was that you're ambidextrous. And so it really felt weird to only be doing one versus when you did both at the same time. And so that is important because once again, we're talking about adaptation. And adaptation, if I was going to say a really simple way, to reaffirm that is, we have jumping jacks, we have in Qigong and Tai Chi, there's movements where you do purposely move both limbs in the same way. So look at things, places where in your life, that you can duplicate that to just reinforce and pull yourself together. And for you, Stephanie, for you to realize that, okay, I need to, if I do multiple times during the day, it's going to have a longer effect. Now, one of the things I also mention to people when we're doing this is at the end of the day, when you're brushing your teeth, reflect over your day and ask yourself, how many times did you scribble? And if you scribbled a lot, how did that have a positive impact on you? And if you didn't, how that also had an effect. But wanting to just look back at what did you integrate and how did that affect you? Remember, this is the mind works in an either or capacity. So the more time we scribble, or we do things that are like scribbling, that the more time, we are in our conscious mind. And that's where we want to be. So anybody else want to share or show? Yes, Pam.
When I did the left hand the first 2 times, I found working with the left hand was more fun than working with the right hand. The right hand was too controlled, to do it this way, listen to what you're being told, total control. And then the third time, the left hand that was more fun got a little stronger and was ready to speak up and not just be passive, but take in being assertive at times too.
Cool. Very cool. Did you have anything more to share, Stephanie?
No, that's all good, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, anybody else? All right, so we meet on the 1st and the 3rd Wednesday of each month. So today's the 1st, so I think that is the 15th, if my math is correct. Somewhere's around that. I look forward to seeing you. If you have stories to share about things, how this has helped you or not, you can email those to me and then I will share them with everybody, or you can save it and share it in the group. That's it. Thank you very much. And I look forward to working with you in a couple of weeks.